Fresh leaks have emerged suggesting that Marvel has ramped up efforts on the Ghost Rider reboot. The studio is reportedly in the process of locking down both a director and a screenwriter. According to insiders, much of the foundational groundwork has already been completed, meaning full-scale production could kick off at any moment. Brad Winderbaum, head of Marvel Television, revealed that Ghost Rider is slated to make his MCU debut very soon. However, the exact plans for the character remain unclear. Initially, Rider was expected to get a solo movie, which would lead into his appearance in a Midnight Suns crossover. Now there's speculation that the project might take the form of a series with minimal ties to the broader MCU, allowing for more creative freedom and a focus on supernatural themes. Interestingly, Winderbaum hinted that Johnny Blaze won't be the primary focus. Instead, Danny Ketch is likely to take center stage. In the comics, Danny is Johnny's half-brother who inherits the Rider curse, becoming the lead version of the character throughout the 90s. Notably, Danny played a pivotal role in the Midnight Suns storyline, which could be a major hint about Marvel's intentions, but this doesn't mean Johnny will be sidelined entirely. A plausible scenario would see Johnny reimagined as a mentor for the younger Danny. Imagine Johnny Blaze as a grizzled veteran in his 50s, passing the torch to a Danny Ketch who's around the same age as Peter Parker. This approach would add a fresh player to Marvel's lineup, expanding the supernatural side of MCU while setting up a key member for future sagas. With the weight of the franchise increasingly falling on Tom Holland after Secret Wars, Ghost Rider could provide the perfect counterbalance. Alternatively, Marvel could opt for a Danny-centric origin movie, keeping Johnny Blaze's presence limited to subtle nods or hints. One critical decision Marvel faces is casting. We will demand someone with big hype and charisma. Fortunately, the studio already has a prime candidate, though they've yet to reveal who. During an interview promoting The Gray Man, Ryan Gosling casually set the internet on fire by expressing his interest in playing Ghost Rider. The question is, will Ghost Rider get a full-blown theatrical blockbuster or a Disney Plus show? Marvel's been wrestling with this kind of decision before. Take Moon Knight, for example. Back in 2017, there was a heated debate over whether it should be a movie or a series, with the latter ultimately winning out. For Ghost Rider, it's hard to imagine Marvel confining Ryan Gosling to a streaming platform. The man is box office dynamite, and a big screen debut seems almost inevitable if they're serious about maximizing his star power and the character's potential. Let's not forget that Ghost Rider isn't just another superhero. He's one of Marvel's most powerful, visually striking, and downright badass characters. With Hellfire at his command and a penchant for taking on immortal gods, he's not afraid to throw down with the MCU's heavy hitters. He once handed Thor a humiliating defeat, but it's not just the raw power that makes him iconic, it's the whole package. The flaming skull, the chains, the rebellious attitude. It's dark fantasy fused with dynamic action, tailor-made for MCU to explore its grittier side. Still, Marvel faces a potential pitfall here: nostalgia bait. There's been chatter about bringing Nicolas Cage back, possibly in Secret Wars. While Cage's return could trigger an avalanche of fan excitement, it risks cheapening the character by leaning too heavily on fan service. Plopping him into Secret Wars for a quick cameo might generate hype, but it could also undermine the fresh start that Danny Ketch deserves. The idea of Cage showing up isn't far-fetched, though. He was planned to appear in Deadpool and Wolverine, and Marvel seems increasingly keen on playing the nostalgia card, especially with Secret Wars shaping up to unite the MCU's current roster with characters from older Marvel movies. So Ghost Rider could be part of that epic multiverse mashup. While the thought of his fiery skull lighting up the battlefield alongside Hugh Jackman's Wolverine and Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man might sound like a dream, it risks turning Secret Wars into a chaotic nostalgia fest rather than the grounded, character-driven finale it could be. Here's hoping Marvel doesn't sacrifice Ghost Rider's potential for a cheap thrill. Whether it's Gosling as Danny Ketch or even a mentor role for Cage's Johnny Blaze, this character deserves more than a throwaway cameo. With the right vision, Ghost Rider could be Marvel's gateway into a darker, more supernatural realm, something the MCU desperately needs to keep evolving. I'm all in for a full-fledged origin movie. There's an entire generation of viewers out there who barely know who Ghost Rider is or what he represents, and Marvel owes it to the character to do him justice. At the very least, give us a proper show, but don't let this opportunity go to waste. For far too long, Ghost Rider has been dismissed as just a mindless action hero, but his potential is so much bigger than that. He fits seamlessly into genres like horror, black comedy, and even science fiction. As for what comes after the multiverse saga, the future remains frustratingly unclear. Marvel's higher-ups have yet to reveal any concrete plans, leaving fans in the dark. That said, there have been more than a few tantalizing hints about a possible Midnight Suns adaptation, a project that could finally take MCU into its darker supernatural corner, vampires, demons, occult themes. Marvel's been flirting with these ideas for years, and it's high time they fully commit. The franchise already has several perfect characters for a crossover like this, and let's face it, MCU needs to grow up. It's time time for a horror-inspired R-rated film that embraces mature storytelling and hits the big screen. Experimental projects like this are exactly what the MCU needs to stay fresh and relevant. Still, we're left waiting for more details on the next Avengers before we can draw any solid conclusions. In the meantime, the idea of Nicolas Cage making a nostalgic comeback remains on the table. Marvel has been leaning heavily into nostalgia lately, so it wouldn't be surprising. But even if Cage doesn't come back, the franchise can't afford to let Ghost Rider fall by the wayside. Whether it's Ryan Gosling stepping into the flames as Danny Ketch or a modern take on Johnny Blaze, this character deserves to burn brighter than ever. We might have to wait a bit longer for that perfect adaptation, but one thing's for sure. The clock is ticking for Marvel to seize this moment. Subscribe.